Hey there. It's March 25th of 2020, and we're in the midst of the pandemic for coronavirus, meaning that a lot of people are shut in. Now, most caregivers who are taking care of seniors are kind of used to being a little shut in, but they do have some outlets where they can go out every now and then, go to a movie, go to an event, visit friends, whatever, for the most part. And if they can't go out, at least other people can come in, visit family, friends, and so forth. But now we're all being sequestered and staying away from each other to hopefully deplete or decrease the amount of spread of this horrible virus. I wrote an article. I thought about things to do when you are shut in, when you're stuck at home and you can't get out. So I thought I would do this little video on that topic because there's just so many things that you can do. I've been talking to some of my friends today and family, and it's been 2 weeks now that some of us have been sequestered in our homes, and I think the itch is starting to get to us. I think people are starting to feel a little wacky. So I think it's important to have a list of things that you can do, and also to have a schedule, which I think is important anyway if you're home. I work at home, so I'm home almost all the time. So I'm used to keeping a schedule, which has helped me a lot throughout the years. I've been working at home 21 years, so I know that it's important to do that. Otherwise, you don't get anything done, really. It's just too easy to slack off. But anyway, I have 8 basic topics of things to do, and I'm going to go through each of them, and hopefully some of them will help you to stay entertained during this time for however long it's going to be. At this point, we don't know. It could be a few weeks, could be a few months, and then we don't know what it's going to look like afterwards. I do feel like I'm in a movie, you know? I'm sure everyone else does too. All right. So the very first thing, number one, is of course entertainment via television and the internet. I mean, I think everyone thinks about that automatically, and almost everyone has television and or the internet. So I do hope you have access to both of those. So what I'm going to talk about there are basically the tools that you can use to get things like Netflix and Amazon and Prime and Hulu and so many other stations. I personally use Roku and Amazon's Fire Stick. I have both of them on different TVs. And the reason that I like both of those is because you not only get the main stations that we all know, Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and Crackle and any others, but there's so many other stations available. And one of the things that I love about using Roku and Amazon Fire Stick is that I can get stations, local news stations from other parts of the country and other parts of the world. So I can keep in touch with what's happening in a town in California where my friends live, or up in New Jersey where my relatives are. So it's a great way to entertain yourself with that kind of thing, besides the local information that you get. And then on top of that, on Roku, a lot of individuals have created their own Roku stations, and it could be, broadcasting church services, their own cooking shows, or their own library of movies. So you can get so much more on any, with these devices. So if you don't have either one of them, I would encourage you to get it. It's just a one-time cost for the unit itself. And then after that, it just works on Wi-Fi. So there's a lot of free entertainment and videos and all kinds of things via Roku and Amazon's Fire Stick. The other thing you can do with TVs and the internet, of course, are movies on DVD. You either have your collection, so you can start going through that again. A lot of people tend to have a ton of movies on DVD, but how long has it been since you've seen a lot of them? So now's the time that you can catch up on some of them. Maybe you can trade with your neighbors. Just make sure to wipe the case down with alcohol. I know that sounds kind of weird that you have to do that now, but that's what you have to do. A new station that's coming up on April 6th is called Quibi, Q-U-I-B-I. I'm going to have all this information down in the description below, so there'll be a link to what I'm talking about there. But Quibi stands for small bites. I think it's small bites. Yeah, quick bites. That's what it is. And it's free for the first 90 days. And then after that, I think it's $5 or $6 a month. I'm not sure. But basically, Quibi is a new entertainment station like Netflix, but you can't get it on your TV, at least not yet. You can only get it through an app on a smartphone. I'm not sure if you can get it on the computer as of yet. We'll find out April 6th when it launches. But the story with Quibi is that they have multiple shows on there, multiple series, and it's all kinds, every genre, or at least a lot of genres. But the deal is that every episode is only 10 minutes long, hence quick bites. So it's very much like Amazon Prime and Netflix, where when they launch a show for the season, they launch the entire season, and then you can binge watch the show. So with Quibi, you can do that easily, but because every episode is only 10 minutes long. It's going to be interesting to see the kinds of shows. There's a lot of famous actors and actresses who are doing Quibi shows, but it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. But check it out. It's free for 90 days. It starts April 6th. Amazon Prime just launched several dozen shows aimed for young children. So if you have young children living in your home and you're all shut in for a while, know that Amazon Prime just launched several new shows and movies specifically for them. So that may work well for you if you have Amazon Prime. Metopera.org, the Metropolitan Opera, obviously they've closed their season this year, but what they're doing now is they are broadcasting, not live, they're not live, but they're operas nightly. I believe it's nightly. You can check it out on the link below. But a friend of mine sent that to me, and what she's doing is she's holding a black tie dinner night with her and her family, and then they're going to watch an opera. So I thought that was such a great idea. I mean, you can do that with a lot of different genres, with westerns, with sci-fis, with horror movies, whatever your favorite movie, and you can dress in costume, and if you can find the food, you can have the food for that particular theme or event. So I thought that was a really cool idea, but she always has some great ideas. YouTube. A lot of people don't think of using YouTube on their TV, and with Roku and Amazon's Fire Stick, you can definitely broadcast YouTube up there. Of course, you can also have YouTube on your smartphone, and then you can mirror it up on your TV if you know how to do that. But YouTube offers a lot of entertainment, free movies, Broadway shows, off-Broadway shows, TED Talks, museum tours, art gallery tours. There's a lot of vlogs, people doing their own tours of national parks and cities and all kinds of things. So webcams where you can see live whatever, oceans, scenery, birds hatching, I don't know. There's webcams of so many different things. It's a little scary, actually. There is a YouTube channel called Cyber Seniors, and they have a lot of things there that are specifically for seniors. But I would encourage you to look through as many of the tours and the museums and the educational things like TED Talk and how-to kind of things, cooking channels. There's so much on YouTube, and it's all absolutely, totally free. There's something there for everybody. Google Earth and Google Maps, that's another thing that I think a lot of people don't think about using. Now, you can't do that on your television, but you can certainly do it on a computer, laptop kind of thing. I used to do it a lot with my mother. She was born in Trento, Italy, which is northwest of Venice. And I used to pull up the laptop and we would go on Google Earth or Google Maps and go to Trento. She would give me the name of a street or something. I would type that in, and you could take that little yellow guy at the bottom right of the screen and drag him up to the street. And next thing you know, you're right there and you can walk down the street and see. And it was great for her because she was able to say, oh, there used to be a bakery there. And she remembered a fountain. We walked down to the fountain. She used to ride her bike to a lake. We took that road down to the lake. She could show me where her grandmother lived. It was a great way to go back to her hometown without having to get on the plane and go, because at that time she couldn't do that. So check that out. You could check out all the houses you used to live in, places you've lived in, your grandparents, your great-grandparents. It's a lot of people don't think about using Google Maps as a little bit of entertainment, but I know my mom loved it, so maybe your senior loved ones will love it too. Podcasts. If you aren't listening to a podcast, I kind of think you're in the minority. I'm not sure. Only because podcasts have exploded in the last few years. There's literally, I think, literally a podcast for every single topic on the planet. Maybe outside the planet too. I don't know. But there's a lot of podcasts available. They're all free, as far as I know, and they're easy to access. You can access them on your smartphone, on your computer. I'm not sure if you can access them through Roku or Amazon Fire, but I know you can see some of them on YouTube because some podcasters are filming themselves while they're doing the podcast. So they've got a twofer. They've got a video and they've got a podcast. There are a plethora of podcasts available, and it kind of reminds me of the old radio shows, before television, when people would sit in front of the radio and listen to everything, stories, commentaries, news, how-tos, entertainment, everything. Well, podcasts are exactly like that. The difference is that these people don't have to go into a studio to do the podcast. They can do that right from their own homes. So almost everyone can put out a podcast if you have the equipment. But check that out. That may be something that would be of interest. And I wonder if there's a podcast about the old stories like they used to do on radio shows. Well, that would be interesting, like a George Burns kind of thing. All right, music. Let's not forget that music soothes the soul. I know it soothes mine. So use your radio, your Alexa. I love using Alexa for music because all you have to do is ask it to play a particular genre or an artist or a song, and it will play it. It has meditation music and sleep music and classical music and country music and everything you can imagine. I know my mom-in-law, who's 98 years old, loves to listen to music from around the World War II era when she first got married. She dances around her condo by that, and I think that's awesome. There's a lot that music can do for you, so use it. Put it on during the day. You never know. All right, so that's all entertainment, TV, and internet. So another thing that I put on my list of things to do are online courses. If you're like me and you enjoy learning, I love learning something new, there are so many online courses that you can take, and some universities are now offering free online courses, like Harvard Extension School and Yale Open Courses. And there's a program online called Udemy, Udemy, and they have so many courses on there put on by, just regular people like you and me, and some are professors, instructors, and they can teach you anything from photography to art to history, whatever you have an interest in. Some courses are free, some are just $10. It's a great time now that we're kind of stuck in to follow what you may have always wanted to do. Learn the guitar. There's a musician called Chuck Chris who does Skype guitar lessons. I mean, how cool is that? There's a friend of mine, a musician, Debbie Pierce. She teaches teaches music online as well. So again, all that information will be below in the description part below the video. But YouTube also has a lot of online courses, how-to kinds of things. You can learn just about anything on YouTube. Learn a new language. Learn how to cook all these amazing sauces that go on meats and vegetables, and learn how to finally make the best chocolate cake on the planet. Anything. There's so much out there. All you have to do is just turn on the computer and give it a go. All right. Number 3, reading. A lot of people enjoy reading, either reading books or listening to audiobooks. And just to let you know, Amazon's audible.com just released several hundred, I believe, free new free books on their audible.com. So if you have a subscription or a membership there, you can definitely start listening to some of those free books. It's a great way to pass the time. And it doesn't have to be just from your phone or computer. You know, if you have an Alexa device, you can also access Audible there as well. But of course, there's also Kindle books, and there's a ton of free Kindle books. A lot of new authors, young authors, they publish their books on Kindle for free just to try to start building up a fan base. Library books can also be on Kindle as well. So check with your local library on how to access that. If they're still there, hopefully they're still there. All right, number 4, keeping in touch via video. I mean, just because your family members, you can't get to them or they can't get to you because you're, sequestering yourselves, there's no reason why you can't see each other. I personally like to use Amazon's Echo Show. My Echo Show can talk to my friends and relatives who have the Echo Show, so we can converse with each other. And I like that because it's hands-free. It's sitting right there on my kitchen counter, and so while I'm messing around doing something, I can just talk with them as if they're right there. But you can also use Skype on your computer. You can use a program called Zoom on your computer. It's free for 40 minutes. And you can use Apple, if you have an iPhone, you can use FaceTime. If you have Google, you can use Google Duo. So there's a lot of different ways that you can still see and have a conversation with your friends and family. So I encourage you to do that. It's always nice to have that little personal touch with others, even if you can't physically touch them. And doesn't cost you anything. All right. Games and puzzles. Everyone thinks about games and puzzles, when you're shut in, things to do. And I would say that if you're with a senior loved one, I would encourage you to do the games that they've done before. So I'm talking about things like Monopoly, Clue, chess, checkers, card games, those kinds of things that they're accustomed to. Something new might be frustrating or difficult for them if they want to participate. They want to watch, that's another story. But I would say pull out those old games if you have them, dust them off, and spend a little time going through those, having fun with those games. If they'll play with you, I mean, hopefully they will. I know some seniors, as they get older, it's difficult for them, or they're stubborn, or I know there's all of that, but if they are willing, give it a try. There's also a lot of book games like Sudoku and adult coloring books. Those kinds of things are more solo. So if your senior loved one is more into that or wants to try that, that's certainly something that you can do. And I think you can still order them from Amazon. I know it's taken a lot longer to get Amazon products these days, but it's worth a shot. Puzzles are great if their vision is good. It takes a long time to do a puzzle. So if you have the place to start doing that and putting that together, I would highly recommend doing that. And it's great for young kids also, especially really big puzzles. Don't be afraid about challenging them. It doesn't have to be something that's super easy. Again, you know your family, you know what they can and want and like to do, so go with that. Number 6, crafts. Some people love doing crafts, and as many seniors get older, they tend to lose that. I know my mother was a master at knitting and crocheting, and in her last year or two, she just kind of gave that up. I personally think it was a little bit of depression, but I don't know. But if you can access that part of yourself where you're enjoying this activity that you used to enjoy a lot, there's no reason why you can't pick it up again. But there's also no reason why you can't do something brand new. I mean, as I was doing research on this article, I found a lot of kits on Amazon and other places. And I think the kits are a great thing because everything comes in one box with instructions of what to do, and it makes it much easier. And it could be anything from, putting a wooden ship together, like a model, or paint by numbers, or yarn craft kits, that kind of thing. But one thing that I found that I kind of forgot about was Lego. I mean, I used to play with Lego all the time, but wow, today's Legos are amazing. They're like robotics and erector sets combined with Lego. It is unbelievable. The things I know when I retire, which is in just a few years, I am going to have a Lego room because those things looked amazing. So check it out. It looks very, very cool. All right, number 7, we're almost there. Gardening. A lot of seniors love gardening, and I think it's important to do, especially because it's something you're making something out of nothing. So I just think that's always cool and exciting and fun. Well, maybe not super exciting, but it can be fun. So if you have a little bit of a green thumb, I would encourage you to do it, even if it's just some small pots, by the window. Plant some seeds, have them grow, make it flowers, herbs, tomatoes. There's a lot of things that you can do indoors, but if you have a small patio area and your senior loved one can get out there, that would be a wonderful thing to do. It's springtime now, so now would be a good time to start doing that. You could even, work on putting together a butterfly garden with, all kinds of varieties of flowers, things like that. And then number 8, activities, just sheer activities. Decluttering your living spaces. I talk a lot about decluttering for home safety and aging in place, I know, but it is so important and it's so easy to do. You just need the time and the willingness to do it. Well, now you have the time, so do it. Organizing your photos, cooking with your family, feeding, whatever you've got, squirrels, birds, deer, chipmunks, whatever you've got outdoors, now would be a good time to create some kind of environment for them, feeding them. And it's a great activity. And I know I have a friend who loves hummingbirds, and his back porch is filled with hummingbird feeders, and he takes a lot of time and a lot of pride in making sure those feeders are well stocked, and he can, in the afternoons or when they come, actually I don't know when they come, but he just loves sitting there and watching them come, and he does basically have like a hummingbird garden. So i I think those are great activities. Build a computer. If you always wondered how a computer works, build one. They have kits that come with everything. You can put it together, build it. It's something brand new. If you're into learning and want to challenge yourself, that's a great thing to do. Start a blog. Blogging started by journaling. Basically, it was journaling. And you can still do that, of course, but now almost every website you go to is actually a blog. There's so much information available out there, and all you have to do is sit down and write it. Personally, I think every family should have a blog, especially if you have a senior loved one living with you or, in your life, because you can film them with their stories, audio tape. You can put all of that on the blog. You can put your own stories, links to pictures, maps, places, historical events, whatever your family is involved in. It's a great way to chronicle the story of your family. And so many of us, our parents or grandparents passed away without passing that information on to us. They may think it's not very important, but it's a part of our family. So, of course, I think it's important. I hope you think it's important. Well, those are my 8 basic genre with a lot of little stuff in there of activities. And I hope that they keep you busy during these times. I hope you stay safe and clean and healthy, and as well for your family. If you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the like button. And again, everything that I talked about is going to be in the description below. So feel free to take a look, go through the links, and hopefully you can stay entertained for these next few weeks or months, however long we'll be sequestered. And let's hope it's short and sweet. All right, take care. Have a great evening. Bye.